Before we do, I want to think about maybe why God maybe was telling Moshe not to marry a foreign witch. And I feel like it might not have been, or why the people talked about it as well. Because a lot of people get it misconstrued that it's prejudice when it's talking about the preservation. I was just reading a couple of little acts on wildlife preservation. And the fact that some of us are actually supposed to be untouchable. Somebody already knew that, but they left somebody open, or they tried to disregard that when it came to the Son of God for a very long time. But I'm guessing it, if you went through your life with these type of attacks where you maybe have been drugged or drug off in a fucking spaceship, I don't know, for people to play around in your energy or something like this, okay? Um, you'll see that past, present, and future, these people have been able to come in on somebody's energy and not have to pay, or else they did pay and somebody stole whatever this is that might have been preserved or set aside for someone. All right. So I want to take these two cards and start off. Okay. So I just took a picture of somebody because I noticed that when they say Christ hovered over a body for 3 years, it seems like whenever, okay, I'm interested in something, it's about 2 or 3 years that I'm involved in it, whether I pick it up as a craft or something. First it was like hair and makeup, I was all into the videos of the girls. So I'm noticing whatever I was putting my energy possibly into, well, not my energy, but whatever I was observing or watching, I feel like it enhanced that group. So we saw a lot of people come up in hair and makeup and everything like this, right? The next thing, I think it was crafts and scrapbook and stuff like this. That got really big. The next thing that I'm kind of hovering over and looking into and seeing what I would call it is possibly the tarot. The indigenous community was after that, okay? And now we're looking at the tarot community, okay? So what I'm noticing is that this masculine might have been watching what I've been watching, knowing that I know how to pick. I don't know, it could have been, was a talent scout. I don't know what. The best of the best or something like this, right? So again, I just took a picture of 3 women celebrating like this, right? And we have the goddess in reverse, okay? But we're going to put the goddess back in the upright, all right? And we're going to put these people in reverse, okay? But what's really going to tell us what the outcome is going to be, I'm guessing. And this is kind of exciting a little bit, but it's kind of like, daunting. I feel like it doesn't matter what these cards are going to say. They should, speak something here, because if this is the case where these people have tried to kill a goddess or the American goddess, and these people are celebrating now, they won't be celebrating for long. So the good thing about it is that we'll be able to gauge or measure if these women have been benefiting or doing something. And again, some of these women, a lot of people know they're so-called famous online or whatever. So the good thing about it is it'll tell us what I need to know, okay? Because if this masculine is dead and gone and these women are dispersing up his empire or my empire, because the reason why this masculine would have been in this empire or in this position is because of my energy. I also feel like too, I was picking up, I just went to sleep for a second, I woke up and I'm picking up that they tagged some of us to certain family lines for some reason, and that some of our family lines are the plants that were placed in our families that were preserved under this wildlife preservation acts are preserved and they're sheltered and they're helped in there. So it's not like, when I say that, people will go to Africa and donate or do all this stuff to send money over there, but they Americans or so-called Caucasians or other people, Hispanics or whatever, they don't want to, even if they see their neighbor down or whatever, they invest in themselves. And you should always invest in yourself too as a group. But again, have some respect. And I feel like, again, a lot of these people come in the country without having to have that certain level of respect or something for whose land that you're on, regardless of what conditions that they're in. And I noticed that some of because it keeps saying God knows. No, it says something about some grandfather or something knows their children, but I'm thinking that could be somebody that is a clone that came in after a grandfather passed away and started playing that part, and they may not have been American. But I'm feeling like some of these family members, especially when we have families that have 20 children, some of them children was not all by the same man, right? So then there will be plants, their children will be plants, and it would seem like their children might come up higher than what the original people from that family would. But it's them thriving off of what was already there, what has already been laid out by the people that have been so-called oppressed for so long. And then also actual things that people that come from Africa get different types of assistance when they come into this country than the people that's already in poverty in the hood. So it's something about 20 years or 20 years or more, maybe even because I think some of these acts were from like 1974 and 1950 or something like this. But the whole plan all this time was to sneak these people in here in increments and let them come up real high against us. But they would blend in because they would be in the likeness of God or American gods, but they're really not. So I noticed that a lot of the stuff, the traditions, just if I look at the algorithm of some of these and some of the grotesque things that we feel like they do behind the scenes in some of these secret societies and some of these things when it comes to college alumni. If sometimes, you know, we don't really see college in Africa, but some of these things that they do, it seems very, you know what I'm saying? It seems very, could be even Maori-ish mixed with something with Africa. I don't know, it's very something, the way that the culture of these different groups behave. So what I was picking up is that a lot of people, especially in these southern states that are heavy on education, a lot of these people are the African version. You know, it's like they take the choicest fruit from another nation or country and bring them here and raise them alongside us. Whole time these people are, their parents are probably in the past 30, 40 years, if we think about that 300 or 400, but also maybe like a 30 or 40 year. In this third party situation, have third parties always been a thing? We just didn't know that they were going on, hovering over our families. Knowing that while they were hovering over and making a mockery of us, that these people would be coming up real high because they would fit more into keeping up with the Joneses and, you know, wanting that, like everybody look at America like, oh, I want to be in America, American, nah, 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 nah. So it's something like that. But whatever, it kind of just seems very materialistic and very fake. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that's inbred in what how our parents would look at it. Because like I said, a lot of these people, some of these people don't go back and bring in people like them. They may co-mingle with people that are not. We can see that these people all look different here on this image. So it's the ignorance of these people, how God said. But again, we have to put into place that that these people aren't winning fairly. It's spell work, witchcraft, and people in the judicial system as well. And also, if we're dealing with cyborgs or something like this, people would work with science and medicine and man and things like this. Also, ancient other cultures and things like this. It's not like a normal war. Like somebody has an oversight. Like their parents, a lot of people, if you notice, when we're talking about, well, I don't know, I'm just gonna know about the Midwest and this area. But again, we don't see a lot of people that come in and we know that they're African. I just feel like whatever this is, some other people from other nations were planted amongst side of us and our family. They may have even treated us differently. You know, you could tell by their energy, okay? Or something the way that they treated somebody, or because American women normally would have a tender touch. I'm talking about in slavery times and things like this, the mammy or whatever, they had a tender touch even amongst the children of other races, okay? That meek energy, that meekness. If a lot of people go back to the 80s and they think about their grandmother, at least, that's the anchor. You could probably see that your grandmother was like some type of, other type of being, some holier than, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, you know? I never seen my grandma do this, that, or that, or whatever like this. I never seen her around another man, even though, I didn't get to meet my grandfather. He passed away before. And if you study or look at other cultures, sometimes the women there can be brutal to each other. Growing up, I didn't see that brutality in public or amongst the family line. I didn't see that much hostilities between the women in my family. It seemed like they was close. They kicked it at each other's house. They gossiped, they laughed and turned up or whatever, went out together, everything like this. But I feel like in other cultures, especially if people are keeping up with the Joneses or if they have a high class status in some of the more third world countries, they tend to treat the women that they bring or in or around as servants and stuff like this horribly, okay? They could also process, because genital mutilation is about something else. It's about severing